Hello, lovelies. We're gonna do something a little bit different today. We're gonna talk about Mysterium and Cyan and Abduction. Mysterium was a small, single series convention focusing on the Myst series that started back in '94 with Myst on... shoot, I was playing it on DOS. But it sparks your imagination well after you've played the game, which is obviously why Mysterium is still an annual thing. But my main reason that really called me to go was that Cyan had invited the entire convention of Mysterium to their place for a day to do some panels, some announcements about Abduction, and some talk about all sorts of projects going on. While we're on the Myst projects, before we move on to Abduction, some of the coolest Myst projects that I remember, there was a guy that took an old Myst-styled book and built a tiny little computer to go inside of it with the panel where the linking book picture should be, and you can play Myst in a Myst book. That was something interesting to see. Also was some work that's going into the online community. Like I said, it's still alive, so they've got people still contributing and doing their thing on there, keeping the worlds engaging. There was talk of a new pen and paper style role-playing game, and I do so enjoy those. Yeah. I was an awesome GM. Things always went wrong, but that's an entire side subject. A group of dedicated fans are redoing Riven in the style of real Myst. Full 3D wandering. They're building it in the Unreal Engine. They are rolling with it. I mean, Starry Expanse is not kidding around in this design from what I saw. But what really drew me in to go was the announcements on Abduction. And thus far, I mean, even with a successful Kickstarter that was basically fleshed out with aliens and then surreal worlds, and that's about it. They're very hush-hush on it, because like the entire Myst series, it's gonna be a game of discovery. It's gonna be a game of exploration. You can't really disclose much information without ruining the sense of discovery that the game's gonna offer. Those of you that have played Myst and any of its sequels know that that's the draw of the game. It's what you find. It's not what's spoon-fed to you. It's not who held your hand and guided you through. It's all you finding it, even if it's that one lever that was hidden behind a door that you didn't see because you didn't realize the door could close. Looking at you, Riven. The sense of discovery is the victory. Even with the limited information, I am still so hyped about the game. I'm so excited to play it when it's done. Yeah, the Kickstarter did amazingly well, so that there's going to be Oculus support. I'm looking forward to that, but even knowing next to nothing about the game, I'm still excited. It's kind of it's like a Supergiant effect. And you guys remember Supergiant. They did Bastion and Transistor. Bastion was a rather well-loved first release game by the indie developer, and then Transistor carried it on, and everybody wanted to give it a go because Bastion was great. They proved that they could do, and they carried through on the second one. Cyan's much the same, only they've done it on a series level. The entire Myst series was just a joy to play, a joy to explore. They've made compelling lore that gives such depth to the worlds, but you also don't have to know all the lore to understand what's going on, and that's also a treat. It lets you pick up the game and play anywhere, rather than having to start at the beginning and go through. Because some of the games for Myst are hard to find. But in addition to the lore, they've done beautiful worlds, backed with amazing music. I've been collecting the soundtracks, and they reward your exploration. They don't punish you with invisible walls everywhere. That's such a treat. Thank you for doing that, guys. So what they've done that has made me absolutely adore and gush about the Myst series, you gotta know they're gonna carry through on Abduction. It's a new start. It's a new world. It's bunches of worlds, I assume. And all bets are off for what it can even be. I mean, once you go with aliens, the stars aren't even the limit. But with the hush-hush that they have around it and the limited information they've released, you'd think, what would they have to announce? Well, what they actually announced was working in the Unreal Engine. We already knew that, but what they actually did was they popped up on a projector and wandered around the test bed and showed us basically what they're dealing with to build the world.
And this is a really common technique in game development. It's called gray boxing sometimes. We call it massing models. And the idea is that you can build your product very quickly, very rapidly, with very broad strokes, and then you come in later and you fill in the details. And that's the production approach that we're taking with Abduction. If we want to, we can fall through the world. You can walk in, drop in and walk around and get a sense of scale. The tall boxes are trees. The big fat boxes are rocks. That's a Rand avatar from Uru. We actually still use him for scale reference. I've used him on every project I've worked on since Uru is scale reference. It's always Rand. Anyway, I'm showing this basically just to give you an idea of a lot of the time what we stare at while we're putting the game together. And you know, we're getting functionality working, we're getting gameplay working. It gives you the ability to take these simple boxes and kind of at will modify them. And so this is oh, thanks, autosave. So this has been super useful, you know, for building out spaces. So you can go in and build buildings and, you know, do lighting and everything, all just with simple boxes. And it doesn't look exciting, but from a game development standpoint, it's being able to build spaces super rapidly is like the best thing ever. And so if I want to make a, you know, build an outhouse or something. Lighting responds, everything just updates in real time. And then if I want to, I can drop into the game and immediately go explore it. So yeah, no door. People in your architecture. Really? That's all it takes? So this is essentially taking that massing model and sort of pushing it one step further, which is to start swapping in some more complex models, start working out some things like the landscape in the background. Right? This gives you an idea of kind of how the scene starts to shape up. We can start working out things like you know, what the lighting is going to be in the scene, how the props should be positioned, all that. So. All right. So this is something approaching what we would consider shippable quality in terms of, man, it's really washed out there. I guess we'll do what we do. Make my money. We really want the feel of discovery and finding secrets, not just in the world, but in kind of the minutia of the world. So hopefully that's a good thing. Good. Otherwise, it's, you know, it's mostly just building a library. And so, if you ever wonder, you play a game like this and you think, how the heck was all that built? It's really just a little toolkit. You want another tree? You've got another tree. If you want a smaller tree, you get a smaller tree. And so, that's it. I can drop into the game and I got another tree. The same goes for all those things. We've got it set up right now so that If you want more than one campfire, you've got another campfire. And the light, the smoke, the fire, well, that's probably a bad place for That's a good spot.
It's actually really cool, I think, to see that side of the development. To see something that is a little bit unpolished and in progress. I think it gives great insight to what they are doing. They did release a rehash, speaking of the world and the Unreal Engine. Theirs is a little bit cleaner than mine. In showing like that, it shows their true colors as a small, very personable developer. And they're still doing things that aren't what most games do. But that's their approach. That's their way of functioning. That's what they do. That's who they are. They make a game that they would enjoy, rather than making a game that'll make them a bunch of money. They make a game their fans will enjoy. And in fact, at Mysterium, they took the time, and I mean like a couple hours, to do signing and give a moment for exchange with everybody that showed up. And I don't know how long that took. That actually delayed some of the panels from continuing after the fact, because lo and behold, the man in charge of the soundboard was Rand Miller himself, and he's one of the top. I mean, he's one of the ones that had his names on all the games. So not only is he doing a meet and greet and saying hey to anybody that catches him as he walks by, he's running the soundboard and the lights. He's certainly not above getting in there to get things done and make it work.
It's actually really weird. I've said this before, it's like I live a normal life and then all of a sudden people are applauding me. It's like, wait, what? It's really weird. So thank you guys so much. This is fun, cool digs, huh? And it makes it great for this, right? And these spotlights just came in, so it's like, sweet, we'll use them. I figured it out this morning how they work.
It feels to me the indie level dev. They are concerned with what they make. It's about the game, it's about the fans. It's about everybody just having fun. Because each game seems to have been very much their child, their project, their artwork, instead of something to just churn out and make cash. I mean, as much as you want to put somebody on a pedestal for making something awesome, it's also pretty cool when they'll hop down off the pedestal to come chat with you. Even during the Q&A, Rand and Robin Miller were up there, and you could see the sibling dynamic at work.
So Robin and I, we get together all the time. No, I left him back there. Right back in the, oh, sorry, Ryan's got it. You don't do this very often. This is my first Mysterium. You guys think that he's some kind of, I mean, I should have done this, what he does. He kind of, he's quiet, he's in the background, and it's much more mysterious that way. Not just like some goofy Jeff Bridges character. Well, you are goofy. I can't help it. And he's more mysterious every now and then. He comes out and does stuff and gets more respect. I don't get the kind of respect. I don't know about that.
Did Rand come out to you and ask you?
Yeah, he begged. He got down on his knees. No, I think it's, no, it's just fun. I mean, it's a privilege to be a part of it. And Rand was telling me, he's told me a few of his ideas about it. I think it's just going to be a blast to be a part of it. and then it's all been crazy after that, so. Or we wouldn't be here, acting like celebrities. Sitting here with this crowd is just like far beyond what we ever expected 20 years after making that game.
But this was the gist of Mysterium, and what called me to go, despite it being up in Spokane, where it was hot. Oh, and one day got cut short because of a sandstorm. A sandstorm! Yeah, great. Never seen one of those before. But that's what took me up there. Through sandstorms and deserts and all of that, was I wanted to see what was going at Cyan with the work on Abduction, and to see how hale and hearty the Myst community is. And, yeah, it is. It most definitely is. So until next time when I gush about one of the other Myst games, or find out something else fun about Abduction to come talk about, y'all take it easy.
There are some rudimentary symbols the creatures will understand. Okay, without.